So I have the door stuck, and looks like I have the cable stuck. I'm gonna try to remove the door, the cable. It's on both sides and it's not opening. Now I'm gonna see how I can open the door. Remove the cable. So here's the cable. Looks like I'm gonna try to use these long nose pliers to remove the try to use both hands. I have removed this from the rail, and I think it will be easier to remove this piece now. So I was able to free the cable, and on top I had to, the cable was going over here, so it was not opening, so I used screwdriver and moved it down, and then I freed this part. Now I have to do the same on the other side. So that's good on that side, and now just need to do on this side. I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Remove this. I'm gonna do the same thing. Remove this to the side, and then I should have better access to it. But this up to how much the door was opening before. Just maybe. I'm ready to put the new springs, and these springs, they were a certain size, but I couldn't get the correct one from the store, but I got this one. They're a little bit bigger, the wire, and I'm not sure if it's gonna work 100%. It's possible this video is not how to do this, but I'm gonna take chance, because to order online it would take some time, and I wanted to do it today, and maybe it will be hope it will work. So the way I understood, I need to get some protection for eyes, gloves, and then I got these 2 bars at the store. These are half inch diameter and 3 feet. I wanted to cut them in half, but I couldn't find the cutting tool, so I got 2 of them. And the way that I understood, I need to, well, first of all, I need to be careful not to stand, I guess, around in this section area, but from the side. And I tried it, and it looks like this spring doesn't have any tension, so I think I still am going to be careful, but to do it. So first I'm going to put one here, and then I guess the tension will be pulling it down, it feels. So I'm gonna leave this here bar, and then I'm gonna use I'm gonna untighten these 2 screws and let it slowly release the pressure using these 2 bars, and see what happens. I have release the tension here, and actually there was no tension at all because I guess the spring was unwinded already. And the way I understood, the next step is to mark, is to unwind these cables, and then I want to mark. Well, first I'm gonna unwind this. Excuse me for the noise. Winded the cable. It looks in good, somewhat good condition, so I'm gonna mark this for later. Maybe I'll just do two next to each other. In case one gets erased. And then I'm gonna do the same on the other side. So I'm ready to remove these center two bolts. I'm gonna use the permanent marker and just mark it how it was before. This way I think it will help me later to put it how it was originally on this side. And now I'm just gonna use a socket wrench to remove these two bolts. I have removed the bolts that were holding this middle part, and from my understanding I have to put vice grip somewhere like this, so this rod doesn't fall off. Need probably more tension. The vice grip, and it seems tight. Now I need to remove this roller. So I have removed, I tightened this piece here, and from my understanding I have to kind of slide down the rod, and then remove this piece. And then slide this part. And I forgot I needed to turn this off actually, just in case. And So these are the new torsion bar, and looks it's bigger. That's what I thought, and the coils are bigger, but that's all was available. I hope it will work. So the way I understood the right hand, so this one is left side LW, and so LW will go like this. I guess it will go on this side, and the RW will go on my left side from inside the garage. And another way I understood I can check is just compare the old one and the one came out. The wire goes this direction, and same here. So I'm assuming this will be the reverse. So now, so I have removed this piece. From my understanding, I have to check this bearing on both sides that they're okay. They seem to be okay, so no need to replace. I have put the roller back, and now the one understood, I have to put back the cable, and then so the cable will go. Okay, I need to move it from, so it needs to go from inside, so I have to just lower it from that side, and set it up on this pin down here. And then I will yes, that's how it goes. And now I need to go from inside of from the and now I need to so I need to I put the spring back here on this side, and now I'm just gonna tighten on the rightmost groove, and I guess give it up to it's kind of hard to film with both one hand and do it so, but I think I'm gonna do it straight that way and put it on the marks. In this by hand, these bolts, from my understanding, all I need to do is a half turn with the wrench. Don't need to tighten too much. I have tightened one wheel, and now I'm gonna remove vice grip, and I need to, before I tighten the other side, I have to clamp here so this doesn't move when I rotate it on the other end. I have clamped this vice grip, and I hope this will not move now. Now I need to do Same on this side. I have put the wire down there, and here I need to put it, I guess, that way, and then just wind it on the leftmost groove. So I was using that big wrench, but I realized that I can use something like 10 millimeter, and it seems like it works easier to tighten. So I'm ready to put the rest. So I'm just gonna, the way I understood, I just move these and tighten them. And I already have marked from before. So around there I'm gonna put this piece aligned with the marking I made before. So I'm ready to put these back, and from my understanding this is the most concerned part of installation. So I'm gonna be wearing this, and I also have goggles on just in case. And I measured the height of the door, and it's around 7 feet. So I need to on the instruction it says I have to wind it 7 3/4, and I guess that's 7 times 4, 28, around 31 turns, 30 turns. Well, I mean 30 or 31/4 turns. So I'm gonna use these bars I got from the store, and the way I understood, I have to just go up and use both of them at the same time. The one, and then put another one underneath and do the other one. And oh, actually I just realized I might need to cut these bars, it's too long. I was ready to put back, to wind these springs, and then I realized that the door is bent. So there's a big hole now here. I guess that happened when the cable snapped, and the torsion spring came off. So I think I need to now remove this panel and straighten it out and see if I can do this. And from my understanding, I want to remove these, this bracket with the wheel, and then remove these two, and then I need to remove, I guess, the middle one too, and I guess remove this piece as well, 4 bolts, 4 screws, and same here, these 2 and this bracket. See if this will work. So I have removed this piece from here, and then when I was removing this piece here, attached like this snapped back, and the good part is looks like now it's straightened out back. So I'm guessing this piece was bending the door. So now it looks fine. I think I just need to adjust this piece somehow. Okay, I have to think about this. So I'm thinking what to do is I turn on I plug the motor in, and I'm thinking I just need to maybe move it this. Okay, and now I'm gonna unplug it back. Oh, this looks like it will work. Yeah, I think this might work. Actually, now I need to move it a little bit back. I have put back the roller. I also put some lithium grease inside of the roller from the other side. While it was open, now I think I'm ready to tighten this, wind the torsion spring. So I'm gonna use these two things I'm gonna do it 31 times, between 30 to 31 times. And I'm gonna wear goggles, and on top of the goggles we'll wear this just in case, just for safety. And I'm gonna do it standing on this side, so if something happens to when the stood, I don't want to be on this side, on this line, so I'll be to the side. And once I tighten it 30 times, I will use the I will tighten these two bolts the way and the stood. I have to tighten them around like half a turn after it's tightened, and then slowly release the spring. I decided to put a tape on the end of the bar, so I know that it's good enough when I start winding it. And another thing is, this bar is too long. I wish I could have cut it in half, but I don't have the grinder here to do it, and so I think that will help me if I had it shorter. I'll get back. So I did 30 quarter revolutions. I guess that's around 7. And from my understanding, by looking at these marks, I can tell how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 times 4, 28. Maybe I need to do one more. And so now I'm ready to tighten this, and this takes 3/8, and so I'm gonna tighten this by hand first. So I have to be always careful that this might snap. Seems like a tension, and so I have to have goggles, everything. So now I'm gonna just tighten this half turn from my understanding. Actually, maybe even, yeah, like quarter turn looks like. Just until it's kind of tight. Okay, I probably want to tighten from this side better. Yeah, maybe almost half, maybe slightly less than half. Tighten it wrong direction. And from my understanding, I need to be careful now. So I'm gonna take the other bar and move it up. So I'll take this, move it up and release the tension from this one, and then slowly let this one go. And it shouldn't go. These two bolts should keep it in place, but just in case, I'm gonna go slowly back. I've put it back, released it, and it seemed like it's working. So I'm gonna do this side now, same way. Started turn it down and seem like it's working, but I think it's too tight. So I need to adjust something here. Seems like the rollers are rolling okay. And same here. But I think maybe this is, I need to unwind a little bit. Yeah, looks like I think the one on the left is too tight. So I have removed this piece, and I don't know if that's the best way to remove it there, but there was no tension, so it seemed like working. Now when I try to close it by hand, there's a lot of tension, so I'm assuming I need to untighten the torsion bars, and then I'm just gonna leave this by itself, and then I'm just gonna use my hand to test it, and only when I feel like it's not too tight, and I'll put this back. So I have put the door back, so I use my hand, push it down, then use my foot, and it was tight, and then it was heavy. The spring is too heavy, and then I put this vice grip to hold it, and now I'm gonna go back and maybe undo, I don't know, let's say 2 revolutions, 2 turns on each, because I think this spring is too strong for this, but that's what I had. I haven't tightened, I have released some tension on the springs, but I can feel it's still too much, like it's already pulling easily up. So I think I need to do more, maybe another 1 turn, so that would be maybe 1.5 turns on each side, and then try again. Just too tight still. And I realize now doing this that originally I should have just disconnected this piece and just work on this here manually, and once I feel that, I mean, that's my idea, that this works, goes easy, then I attach this to the motor. I have exchanged the previous torsion spring for this one, and I think, well, this resembles close what was originally there, and I'm gonna try to install this. It's a little bit, I guess, shorter on one side. I have put some tape here, and the reason I put it because the line was coming out, it was not tight, but I just kind of put it to stay in place, and I think it worked so far well. Like, it kept it in place, and on both sides. I just removed it on the other side, and it seemed like it's staying in the correct groove, because this line was not really straight. It was kind of a little bit damaged, but now I'm just gonna remove this tape. And I think I'm happy with the result, because it was kind of hard to keep it in one place for a moment there. That's so far, that's the only thing. So I have now, the last thing to do is just kind of tighten again this and see how it works. So it seems to be working now. At least it's better than it was before. And what helped me now is that all I did was just, it was kind of tight, but I think I realized that I can manipulate, I can control how smooth this thing goes up by controlling either this side or the other. So on this side, I untightened like a quarter turn, and on this side I tightened quarter, and it looks like it made difference just doing that, which is yeah, seems to be just doing on one side and another, and doing it worked. And I also put some tape here because the cable was not going correct in the groove. Eventually I will remove it, but now it helped me that it when it winds, it goes into correct groove. It looks kind of ugly, but it's working, seems like. And from my understanding, when the door goes up, these pieces have to be tightened on both sides, and I think that's what gave me idea to tighten on this side and then tighten on that side, because when the door was up, the cable on that side was a little bit tight, too tight, and on this side it was a little bit loose. And yeah, it seems like the door is going much easier. And all I did was just untighten on one bar, torsion bar, and tighten on the other. And this is what I noticed, that this has to be tight. Actually, I can tighten maybe even more here on this side. And on this side, it's alright, but that's what I mean, like it went in the correct grooves, because I put this tape, kind of let it sit, and that's because this cable is not, it kind of had problem, it was not new. It's already kind of was, yeah, it was not new. It seemed like it was not doing well. And from my understanding, I can actually go now and put some like maybe liquid in there, something like white lithium grease inside these wheels, and I think that would be it. So from my understanding, this door was pretty old, like 7 years old, or but I was told to replace it, all these, I'm not sure why, but so I noticed there was some type of, I guess from the wheels, this residue, so I'm gonna use this to clean it. So my idea is I want to clean this wherever there's a contact. I'm gonna clean that, and hopefully it will be even better now. And then use like something like this. I hope it will work. And then just clean this metal inside. And there's probably a few other places I'm gonna clean too. But just by doing this first time, I learned that I need to get the correct part, like that torsion spring. I needed to get the right one right away, and that also I can control how smooth it goes by adjusting the torsion spring left or right. And seems like it's working now. And the way I understood to test that is the door is in a good balanced position, I have to lift it, and it should be easy for me to move it up and down with just one hand. And so it's kind of goes up to middle, and then I also tried it from this side, and it's not very hard to move it down. And now I'm gonna, I think once I clean these tracks from this residue and oil the wheel, it should be even better, I think. One more thing that didn't work is that once it will open, but when I press the bottom down, it wouldn't go, and now it works. But this is what I did. So from my understanding, there's a sensor here and exactly on the other side, and they were not, I guess, straight. So I cleaned it, the lens inside, and I don't think that helped. What helped is that this piece was not straight. It kind of went down, so I just pushed this little bit back, and I tried it and it works now. So I guess now that's on this side, so it's now straight. So that's what helped to make it work.